Hey there, y'all. A few weeks ago, I got my latest shipment in of vinyl and CDs from the latest sales from Boone's Overstock. I've also picked up some items from eBay, an item or two from Discogs, and even I got a find from a local vinyl shop here in the area. I'll share with you what I got coming up on the other side. Hey there, y'all, and welcome. Tim Risto here, host of the Creative Christians Podcast, joining you once again for another episode of Tim Talks Christian Rock. I hope you're doing great today, and wherever you are, whenever you're watching this video, I hope it's just a spectacular day for you. Today, as I'm recording this, it's a Saturday. It's a nice, quiet, relaxing Saturday here around the Creative Christians studios, and I am so looking forward to sharing with you about some of the latest vinyl and CDs that I've picked up recently. One of the things I love about music sales, you probably agree with me, whether it's a holiday sale, summer sale, Black Friday sale, Christmas sale, whatever the case may be, is when they price things just right, at that just right price point. And it motivates you to want to try some things, pick up some things that you might not otherwise pick up. And lately, I've had a lot of opportunities to do that. Online Christian music vendor Boone's Overstock in particular lately has had some great sales going on over the last, month or two. And so I was able to pick up a number of items through them. This was probably 2-3 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago. Part of it was the Memorial Day sale, and then they've had some sales that have extended beyond that and continued on into the summer. So it's given me an opportunity to pick up some really neat finds that I wouldn't otherwise have purchased because the price point was just perfect for me. So we're going to talk about some of those as well as some other items that I've picked up through some other sources as well. So without further ado, let's get going. All right, first up is the 1980s speed metal band Valor from the 1980s. This is their demo album called Masquerade. Valor was I believe, a Bay Area band that was recording in the late 80s. This one is from 87. They had one full-length album they put out called Fight for Your Life. This was a set of demos that was released, obviously, prior to that. This had become kind of a hard thing to find. I don't think it was on vinyl initially. I believe it was on, cassette. The demos are on cassette. And so then in 2022, Retroactive and Limited Run Vinyl released that set of demos, 5 tracks, onto this nice black vinyl edition because it was a very difficult to find set of demos. Valor is an interesting band. It's got this speed metal, hard rock kind of sound, very melodic voice, vocals, and a lot of energy to them. And I was just not really familiar with them, certainly not with this album. And I'd seen the cover art several times before on Boone's and probably Girder, and it always kind of turned me off. I was like, what's the deal with this, demonic figure here? Obviously, the masquerade, the mask, the devil comes to us and, masquerading in different forms, right? So it's really an album about spiritual warfare. First track is Masquerade. The second one, Fight for Your Life, which, of course, became the title of their full-length album next. Burn, Didn't I, and The Flesh is Weak. So it's very much an album focused on the fight, spiritual warfare. So I haven't really listened to this much yet since I got it. I've listened to the first track, Masquerade. I like their sound. I like their style. So I actually plan on, like I said, today's a Saturday. I plan on putting a lot of vinyl and music on today, and this is one that I'll listen to. Again, it's 5 tracks. Very clean sounding, actually, for demos. 5 tracks. Being on vinyl, it just repeats on both sides, so it's the same program on both sides. This was one of those that, again, with not being familiar with them, the album art at first kind of turned me off, and I just didn't know what style of music they were, that I never picked up. The album, I think, typically runs for about $30, but on this Boone's Overstock sale that was around Memorial Day, they had it listed for $14.86, plus shipping, of course. And for that price, I thought, okay, that's worth it. Especially, again, since you've got the same 5 tracks on both sides. It's not a full-length album, just an EP, basically. But at that price, I thought, okay, I'll pick it up. And anyway, looking forward to listening to this more tonight. They also had the CD of the album on sale as well. This was for $8.97. This is a Digipack trifold wallet, which has some nice photos, tickets, band posters from when they played back in the day with groups like Bloodgood. They were on the ticket with Bloodgood and Barren Cross, Believer, and some others, Deliverance, I think. So this was kind of neat to get both the vinyl and the CD on sale for combined, it was less than, $25, $26 for both. So nice way to kind of get both of those on a sale. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning, finding sales where that's the right price point for me, and I get to try out some music in a band that I wouldn't have otherwise tried out. So Valor, if you're interested in speed metal, hard rock, I think I've kind of some variations in style, but a good energy and a good vocal sound. Check out Valor. Okay, next up is Armada, Frontline. Sorry if I can get this without too much reflections on here. On CD, Armada Frontline. This is another kind of, I think, speed metal, hard rocking, maybe a little bit more AOR-oriented album. One I was not familiar with either. This was one from the 80s. This was originally released, same as with Valor, in 1987. Again, just not a band I was familiar with. The cover art, again, I saw that kind of demonic image on there. I was like, what is this all about? Knew they were a Christian, though. And actually, if you look at that cover art, let's see if I can get this without too many reflections on it. Anyway, if you look at the cover art, it's really cool. The whole concept of Frontline, again, this is a spiritual warfare themed album, but you see kind of the map down here, which has, what does it got? It's got love, health, and blessings on the green side, with the lines drawn to it, or the arrows drawn to it, confronting, hate, sickness, and greed on the map there. So it's, again, spiritual warfare album. That's really pretty cool. You've got the arm, the golden gloved arm, so to speak, coming in and taking the demon by the throat. Just kind of interesting album art, but it is about spiritual warfare. I've only listened to the first 2 tracks on this. This is another album I plan on putting on later today and listening to all the way through. But Communication, first track, Frontline, The Calling. I know I've listened to those 3 before, and I like their sound too. But look forward to getting to know them better. This was another one that was on sale for $8.77. Again, one that I just hadn't had inclination to pick up before. The price was too much. Just wasn't familiar with them. Didn't really know their sound. I don't know that they had any more albums after this. I'm not really sure. Again, I don't know their history that well. It's a jewel case, and they've got pretty much just the lyrics inside this one. Oh, there is a centerfold with some band photos, and then a little inside scoop extra read all about it, where you can learn a little bit about the band members and the band itself. So anyway, I have not read all that. I look forward to getting to know their music and this album better, but kind of, I think, along the lines of Valor in some regards musically. So Armada, you guys have it. What do you think of it? They're new to me, old band that's new to me that I'm looking forward to getting to know as well. But another one that for $8.77, hey, I'll pick it up. I mentioned in my previous latest vinyls video that I'd picked up Mass's Voices in the Night, the photo disc vinyl from Boone's in their previous Memorial Day sale, or the one of their extended Memorial Day sales, and have been loving that album. I wasn't really that familiar with Mass. I had a CD of their Take Me Home EP. Hadn't listened to that a lot. I'd kind of been sitting in my collection. But Voices in the Night album just won me over, and I love that whole album. It's produced by Michael Sweet. Just really great. And the picture just photo disc is really a nice addition. So it kind of got me into Mass. So then I started looking around for more sales, in particular wanting to collect some of these Mass vinyls. They've got a number of colored vinyl editions I'd love to get, but they're very limited run and they're kind of up there in price. So anyway, Boone's came along and had the black vinyl edition of their Sea of Black album, which is from, I don't recall here, I don't have the date handy here because I've got the lyrics sheet behind it, but I think it was probably 2020. And, or at least that's when this vinyl was released. I don't know if that's when the album was released. But anyway, this is a good album, too, by Mass. I've listened to it once. Going to put this one on again today as well. It's probably not as good as Voices in the Night, in my opinion. I just love the songs on Voices in the Night. The music on it is great. But this one is good. There's a number of tracks I like. Even the lead-off track, Falling from Grace, All the Years Gone, Through the Rain, Ashes to Ashes, of course the title track, Sea of Black, and they've got an instrumental on here too called Captain Jack. But it is a good album. I look forward to listening to it again too. This is the black vinyl edition. They do have a colored vinyl edition that's in this red that kind of matches the red in the lettering of the album title there. But that one's about $50-$60. I'd still love to get that one, but we'll see. Got to watch the pennies a bit these days. So this one came on sale for $18.97, and I just couldn't turn that down. That again is the right price for me for getting this. So now I've got two Mass albums on vinyl. They also offered, and they've had this on sale before for a while. This is kind of another little EP on CD. Mass's 84 Unchained EP. This has just 5 tracks on it. And again, I'm not real familiar with it. I think this was, what was this? I think it was actually under another title. And then they ended up, retroactive here, re-released it under this title of 84 Unchained. I don't know the whole story, but you can read about it online or in the liner notes if you have it. But anyway, another one that I have listened to this. I like it. Again, still not as good as Voices in the Night. But they always have some good material, some good lyrics, some good music. And I just like their sound musically and vocally. They've really got a great sound. So now I've got a total of 4 Mass albums. 84 Unchained on CD, Take Me Home EP on CD, now Sea of Black on black vinyl, and of course Voices in the Night, the picture disc. So I'm kind of looking forward to continuing to build my Mass collection. I like their music. They're a good band, good stuff. My last pickup from Boone's is an album that I really hesitated on picking up at first. This will almost certainly be probably my most controversial pick of practically every album I've had on Tim Talks Christian Rock before. Probably, I don't know, depending upon your taste and interests. But the album is Grave Declaration, When Dying Souls Scream Praise. This is from 2013 from Bombworks Records. I got this on an incredible sale of only $5 at Boone's. Actually, just under $5. I think it was $4.95, $4.97, something like that. It's a 2013 release, like I mentioned, in a Digipack fold-out. It's an amazing album by Norway's Grave Declaration, but this will not be everyone's cup of tea, because this is symphonic black metal. So the music goes between the rapid fire drums and heavy guitars, along with symphonic kind of keyboards, I think, more than anything, but there may be some actual symphonic instruments in there as well. And then it's got that very doom metal, vocals to it. So that will probably turn people off the most. The music really is incredible. And in some ways, this is kind of a masterpiece album. It is a praise album, though, of symphonic black metal. The lyrics are as clear as day. Maybe not listening to them, but it starts off, first song is Change of Heart, first track, Change of Heart. And here's the first verse. Great and almighty, great King of all kings, your glory goes higher than all that has wings. It's true what they say, that your love lasts forever. I bow down in fear at the thought of your might. Strength be found in my weakness, 'cause your spirit lives within me. Honor to you in the seat of perfection. I ask that you mold me to be like you. Refine me, redefine me, start in me a change of heart. Respine me, sanctify me, make me your sweet piece of art. The lyrics are like that throughout the whole album. It really is a wonderfully written praise album, but again, musically, this may not be your taste. And I hesitated picking up because I'd heard a little bit of it, but it was winning me over the more I kept listening to the demo. Obviously, the cover art looks, again, kind of like the Valor and Armada ones. Everyone's kind of like, what exactly does that mean? But again, you look at the title, When Dying Souls Scream Praise, makes more sense, kind of in this cathedral-like setting. It's a great album. It grows on me more and more. I'm not going to pop this on every week, but it is one that just, when I'm in the mood for something different and something that's just is praise, but not your typical CCM praise stuff, which I have a hard time liking a lot of that. I'm more interested in something that's very musically rich and just different at times. And this one fits the bill a lot. So again, not everybody's cup of tea, but if you're into trying something a little different, that is definitely Christian praise, Christ-centered praise music, consider checking this out. I don't know if it's still on sale, but for under $5, in many ways, this is kind of a masterpiece, and I'm going to look into more of what Grave Declaration has done. Interesting band, great album. Give it a shot if you're open to different styles of music. All right, let's shift over to some eBay finds. I've got a couple of those that I'll share with you. This one here, Bride. See if I can get the reflections off here. Bride, Silence is Madness, their 1989 album. This is the colored vinyl release from 2019. It's kind of this gray-blue swirl. I've got the black vinyl release that was released in 2021, but I'd missed out on this colored vinyl release, which I really wanted to pick up. They've been so expensive and a little harder to find for a while, but all of a sudden they seem to come out of the woodwork, and I've found them to be plentiful online, eBay and elsewhere. It's one of my favorite Bride albums. I really love this album. Silence is Madness is so good. They were still kind of in their heavy metal phase, but with more leanings towards hard rock. And it's just a really good album. I kind of wish they'd done more albums in this vein before moving on to the Kinetic Faith and Snakes in the Playground album. It's, like I said, mainly heavy metal, hard rock, a little bit of blues in here, which again would kind of predate the Kinetic Faith and Snakes in the Playground era. But just such a good album. I got the black vinyl edition, but I really wanted this color edition and finally found it for a good price. I'd actually ordered one from eBay from a vendor that listed it as a colored vinyl. It showed up, and it was the black vinyl edition. So luckily, through some communication, was able to return it and got refunded. Took a little bit of effort, but did get that money refunded. I see they still have their color vinyl edition listed there. I don't think they actually have that, and I think they're using that as a ploy to get people to order it, even though they don't have that. Because I did ask for the corrected vinyl, which they didn't send. They just, went ahead and refunded my money. So, in other words, buyer beware out there. This particular vendor had plenty of good positive reviews, had a few one-star reviews, and didn't pay much attention to them. And then as I started reading them after this issue came up, I realized a couple of those one-star reviews were the very issue that I was having. So buyer beware. Even though there may be only a few one-star reviews on eBay, be sure and check those out. Make sure they don't have to do specifically with what your particular case is. But anyway, this is a great album. Love it a lot. I like the cover art, which is kind of almost in that Iron Maiden Eddie style a little bit. Harks back to that, obviously, but with a Christian focus and with the themes of the album. So, great album. I like it. I'm glad to have both the black vinyl from 2022 reissued and this 2019 colored vinyl. One day I may pick up the 89 Pure Metal black vinyl release that originally came out at some point. But right now I'm happy to have these two remastered re-releases in my collection. All right, my next eBay find is XALT History from 1991. This is the original Pure Metal Records release of this album. I found this on eBay at one of my favorite sellers, kind of a online Goodwill or thrift store on eBay. I always find lots of good Christian, older Christian music CDs through this particular vendor. Not vinyl, but lots of great CDs. I've collected lots of original Deliverance and Bride and Petra through this particular site, so I love checking. Usually, it'll be an album that's maybe been remastered and re-released, and somebody will get rid of their original CD release, and that's when I can pick them up. This one has not been remastered, so this was kind of a great find. Found this for $11.88 with free shipping. Occasionally, some of these vendors will cross-list an item on eBay, Amazon, Discogs even, and it'll be the same vendor, the same item, but there'll be different prices between the three sites. So I'll usually go between them and find out which one has that item on, the least price, the lowest price. It's usually on eBay, though. And so $11.88 for free shipping for this album. Original album. Good find. CD is in very good shape. It's that simple pure metal printing. The disc is really good. And the booklet is nothing fancy. It's really not a booklet. It's just a fold out. But nice find. XALT is a hard rock progressive metal band from Michigan that released 4 albums. The first 2 albums from 89 and 90, I believe it was, were a bit more heavy metal and hard rock sounding, much more raw in tone. This was their 3rd album. Many consider it to be their best. It's much more polished sounding, perhaps a little more AOR. Really good songs on here, really good. The first half sounds a bit different than the first 2 previous, XALT albums. And the second half, actually, of this album tends to lean more towards the songwriting on those first 2 albums. But with, again, that more polished kind of production style, not as raw sounding. But it is a really good album. They had a 4th album titled Helium Blue Gazebo, which came out in 97, so about 6 years after this History album. And it was a bit more rock, pop rock, and kind of acoustic sounding, very different altogether. And it's hard to find, but it's also kind of a different sound altogether, so I don't know if that's one I really want to collect. I do prefer the band's first 2 albums the most, but History is a great album. I do like it. Glad I found it. It's out of print, and so finding it at a good price is always a pleasant surprise. So glad to have it. Do you have XALT History? What do you think of it compared to the band's other albums? Let me know in the comments below. All right, that was the last of the eBay finds. Let's talk about a local vinyl shop where I found some Prodigal. This is the original Prodigal Electric Eye album, black vinyl release from, what was it? This was 84 on Heartland Records. Let's see if I can keep it in the shot here. I found this for $18 at a local vinyl shop. It's in really pretty good condition, just a little bit of slight dirt and maybe minor ring wear on it, but very good shape. It's got the insert, the sleeve and everything with it, so very good shape. I was glad to get this one. I didn't have that on vinyl. I've got the other albums on vinyl, and I got the remastered edition of Electric Eye from Retroactive. That was released back in 2020 on the red vinyl. But I hadn't gone back and purchased the black vinyl, so now the original black vinyl. So now I've got that, which is nice to have. I love Prodigal. Like I said, I've got their first album on vinyl. I've got their third album on vinyl, and I had the remastered of Electric Eye. So getting to add the original black vinyl of Electric Eye to the collection is pretty cool. I've got the all their remastered CDs, albums on CD from Retroactive. I also have the Silver Orb Media box set of the CDs that came out in whatever it was, 2015, something like that. And then recently here, I also picked up, this I guess was an eBay find, so going back to eBay finds, Prodigal, the first album, self-titled album on cassette, the Heartland record, the original red cassettes, which I loved these. And they also had that combined with Just Like Real Life, their third album on Heartland, also on the red cassette. So these were in a listing together for, I think, $15 or so, plus shipping. So I think they came out to just under, $9, or right about $9, a little bit over that a piece for the two of them. So I still need to get Electric Eye on cassette to complete that. I am going to do, or planning to do, a video on all the different forms of media that the Prodigal catalog has. I've collected most of them. There's a few other things I want to get, like I said, the Electric Eye on cassette, and I think the Electric Eye radio special that's on vinyl. Those are a couple things I'd like to add, and then I'll probably do a video all about these different forms of media. They've only got the 3 albums out, Prodigal does, but it'd be fun to kind of look at the CDs, editions, cassette editions, and vinyl editions, and do just a quick little video talking about all those. That's all I got for today. I hope I showed something that's of interest to you. Again, lots of good sales out there. Check Boone's in particular, but also check in on Rock's Records and Girder. Girder started to have a few sales. But some of those staple Christian music vendor sites out there have had some good deals lately. Check them out. Look for those, those really good sale items, and help support those vendors, as well as add some good stuff to your collection. That's all I got today. Y'all have a great day. Go out and listen to some great Christian rock, and above all else, stay in God's Word. Till next time, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.